leading by 2-1 against China's CDEC in the grand final of the International 2015, attempting to win their first international, third last year, of course. And both sets of teams on their way to the pods. Plenty of support for both teams in the grand final. I'm very, very happy to hear the cheers regarding CDEC as well as EG. It's obviously difficult playing at home.
Yeah, props to the crowd. Like, they're making that match even more entertaining, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's amazing.
It's been fantastic out there. It's a great atmosphere as well. Have you had a chance to step in and enjoy it?
It's like every year, you know, it's completely unreal.
Yeah.
It's hard to realize I'm actually watching Dota, you know. It feels like I'm in the middle of like a football match or something. It's I'm so glad we got there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been very enjoyable. Let's talk about game number 4. I'm interested to see what voiceover man comes up with game 4, that's for sure. But I'm also interested to see whether EG can close this one out. Merlini, can they?
I think so. CDEC has shown us in 3 games they pretty much play the exact same play style, just a couple heroes here and there interchanged. And, you know, sometimes they slow down the pace a little bit, but overall it's the same thing. We're going to take fights to you. We're going to group around as 5. We're going to use our superb teamwork, synergy, and chemistry to try and outplay you in the mid-game. Once we win a team fight, we take Roche, take down all map control. That has been what they have played in like the last 10, 11, 12 games.
Yep.
And the draft, only the Broodmother, I think, has been unusual for them in any of the drafts that we've seen. So, again, it's up to them. Can they actually outplay EG, and does EG have a solution for that?
Do you agree with that, Wego? Stick to the script. CDEC have got all the way through the upper bracket final on the same script every time. It doesn't matter whether EG have got a copy of the script and they know what the movie looks like. They're literally just going to play it out every time. Or at this very moment, do they bust out something crazy?
I mean, they have the chance to switch it up, but it's so hard. I think they're less experienced as well when it comes to just going up against PPD here in the finals as a drafter. It's very tough. He has understood them very well, I think, now. And they're in for the hardest game of their lives here.
Absolutely. Seb, can they tie it up 2-2?
I feel like EG did the hardest. They won the game that was the toughest game to win. That's how but I had the same feeling after game 1. And then they did this in game 2. Because now EG gets to choose. And I feel like if they choose first pick, then it's going to be a 3-1. That's what I saw. Sort of, I thought they would go 3-0 or 3-1 if they do that gamble, which they did. If they don't do it, if they go for the approach they had game 2, I'm afraid CDEC could tie it, and then it's going to come down to the coin toss. It's not that simple, but I think it's a huge factor in that series, like a bigger factor than people might think. And so it's just going to depend on what EG does.
From the neutrals' point of view, Wego, quite like a game 5, wouldn't we?
Yeah, I mean, these games, this game, probably the best game of the tournament.
Yeah.
There wasn't a massive abundance of kills, but there was so much action going on non-stop. And they kept prodding, like the Slark went in to see what reaction he got. Nice BKB TP outs as well after forcing reactions. Just beautiful play.
CDEC Gaming versus Evil Geniuses. Grand Finals, Game 4.
Game 4 indeed. CDEC versus Evil Geniuses. Evil Geniuses on the verge need 1 game to be crowned champions of the International 2015, and we're already underway in the draft. Nothing crazy so far.
They didn't take Naga.
They took
Naga?
first pick as I predicted, but I'm very surprised by this. Maybe CDEC, they don't play Naga. I'm not sure. I didn't check that. It has to be checked. If they don't, that is so smart. They're going to get Gyro and Naga. So that's like the best move he could have went for.
Or do they pick it?
Then I'm going to tweet that guy's a genius. I don't know. We're going to see now. They have to get it. But maybe they don't play it again. I'm going to check that.
I actually don't recall CDC playing Naga at all.
Me neither. That's why.
This is actually...
this is so smart.
Lina.
All right.
Okay, Clockwork and Lina.
He has to get
Naga and
has to be the Naga.
Naga plus Gyro. Oh no.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
But the fact that he hesitates, though, maybe he feels, well, Clockwork, they got it, so...
Yeah, Clock and Lina are picked. There's only really, you know, there's not many high-tier picks over Naga, so...
What you also do in those games is that you just use the time that you have before the extra time, so that's why he wasn't probably hesitating. He knew, but he's just using extra time to think about the next plan or the next picks. So I have to say, that is right here, the demonstration of how good PPD is as a drafter. This is so smart. And they did their homework about CDEC as well.
Yeah, we can just go through that again to mention it. Like, they took the first pick this time when they got the choice instead of taking Dyer, and they knew that Leshrac and Teki were going to get banned out. So that guarantees them to pick Naga, and he also studied his opponents.
And I have the confirmation by Nox that, shout out to him by the way with the stats, that
Yes.
CDEC haven't picked Naga at all this batch.
Yeah,
And I think every time they've lost, other than the Techies games, they've lost to a team with Nagasara in it.
exactly.
Every
They've
time.
lost plenty of
Yes.
games against
Yes.
Naga.
The
So
Virtus Pro in the group stages as well.
And
Yeah.
we can probably explain why they
I think
lose.
one to eHome as well.
They even lost to Vega in the qualifier.
Yeah.
So we can, in the wildcard, I mean, we can probably explain to people why is Naga so good versus CDEC.
Yep.
Because that non-stop aggression, that tempo, you can break it. If they actually, at some point, they dive too far or they go for that aggression and they get team wiped, then the whole game is going to be different for them. If they can't actually take the fights because they fed too many kills, then their whole game plan falls apart. And Naga is one of those heroes where you can actually get a 4-man sip. It happened in the series versus EG, and everyone was like, all right, this is game. CDEC is going to lose that game. And then there was this turnaround in the fights, of course. If that doesn't happen, I feel like Naga is one of the best heroes against CDEC.
yeah, the point is not even just that you manage to sleep a lot of opponents. It's like when they dive you under tower, which they will at some point, you can sleep them and get plenty of time to set up so that you have 5 people there. Because that's really the biggest game right here, having the numbers and being ready for the rotations.
But at the same time, now they have Lina for Shiki, which, I mean, in the first 3 games, Shiki didn't really deliver. And I think his Lina is a completely different story. He is super comfortable with the hero. He played it before Lina was super popular in 6.84C, and he should probably crush the mid lane, or at least break even.
Just a small stat of note, Lina is now confirmed as the most played hero at TI5 in 2015. 2 clear of Gyro, which obviously has been picked in this game, but we only have 1 more, so that's Lina confirmed.
Yeah, and Shiki has played plenty of Lina even here at the main event. He played it against Cloud9 when they snapped his courier, and still he managed to win his lane despite not having the salve delivered. So he's a very solid mid laner, and Lina is so strong.
But at the same time, it does leave Sumail's TA open, and that's really dangerous for CDEC, especially if they're on Dire. If they're Dire and they can't control Roche, I think they just straight lose to EG.
And Storm. They didn't ban Storm this time. They removed the Darkseer, removed the Shadow Fiend, but they left a Storm who I feel is one of the few really good heroes against Lina, because you can jump her and Vortex her before you land so that you can kill Lina.
Yeah, but they are actually banning towards the lineup that EG have. Darkseer and Shadow Fiend work better with what they have compared to Storm. So
That's true.
I think it's fair that they actually took that route instead of taking out the Storm.
Yeah, that's a fair point. That does leave EG with that option though, and CDEC still taking their time about this 3rd pickup here.
I think we could even see an Enigma from EG later on in the game. If they feel like they can get away with it, it could be one of those heroes that then CDEC can't be aggressive versus such a lineup.
Yeah, of course, the sleep into Black Hole is terrifying. It's so hard to push high ground against as well. You have to have someone who can kind of solo go up there, and that's not really what CDEC draft. It's not their
Definitely
style
not.
of draft.
The contrast in the pods right now is very interesting. They're smiling, laughing, talking inside the EG pod. In the CDEC, it's a little bit more tense, I have to say. Probably for the first time I've seen them in the tournament.
It makes a lot of sense.
They felt a lot of pressure, like Morga and Sebastian mentioned before. They are getting cornered by mostly the draft and picking sides order. Like PPD is just doing a much better job than them.
Yeah, I mean, playing Dota, you can play as well as you want, but you need to have a solid draft,
Spirit.
especially at this level. It's super important. Cannot be stressed enough.
As the Storm you predicted.
Booyah! Well, the Storm always going to be a strong hero for EG. I don't even think it matters that much if their lineup fully synergizes with the Storm. Sumail is just that good at playing it, and he has Radiant as well. It's much easier to play Radiant Storm than Dire Storm because of the mid lane and the terrain. Harder to get ganked.
But he's up against a Lina though, and Wyvern maybe with an early game can actually help the Lina a lot in the lane. But then again, we saw him getting shut down in the previous games, and he still gets back on top.
Makes me think of Dazzle for EG, or PL coming out again for CDEC. I think they might want Dazzle so they can secure the early game here. They also have Naga Siren in their team, so if they want to, they have the heal combination, and they can also make sure that Storm doesn't get completely harassed by Lina. Question is though if they want to draft more into their combo, because Dazzle wouldn't do much for the
Yeah, you can't deal with PL as Dazzle, and you need to rely on the other heroes though. So that might be something that PPD is considering, and you might want to go for a support. Yeah, Earthshaker deals with PL much better than the Dazzle. You have some AoE lockdown, and overall works very well with the Naga song as well.
I think it's safe to say that it's going to be an offlane Shaker, and most likely a Naga, since I don't think like Shaker and Naga.
Oh, it's AoE Naga for sure.
On support.
No,
I know, but I mean,
he's talking
Shaker
about
Naga support.
yeah,
I don't think it's
Earthshaker offlane.
I mean, we could, because indeed PPD plays Shaker and AoE plays Naga, but I think this support duo is actually quite bad.
Yeah, it is. It doesn't work in this meta, at least, this patch. No, I believe it's offlane Shaker for sure. That way you also get more levels and experience than you would if you were a support. You could get more as a support, but you don't have time to pull all the time. You need to roam, you need to be present on the map. So, Dazzle gets banned out actually by EG here, scared of the Phantom Lancer combo.
The CM was a really good ban, honestly. I think EG
Would have been the perfect pick.
Yeah, would have been the perfect pick for them with the Storm.
Oh yeah, and against the PL would have been so good. Even against the Winter Wyvern, you can't save people with Cold Embrace against that lineup. Any draft you favor more right now, Merlini, or are you kind of neutral to it?
It depends on what PPD's pick is. We've seen some...
Brood is still in the pool, by the way. I don't know if it's a danger for one of those teams, but it's still in.
For CDEC?
I guess EG could pick it, technically. Yeah. I think I like EG's draft a little bit more, especially if they go for, like, I don't know, an Omni Knight or something less pick, something that just, like, completely counters the Wyvern. But I don't know. I think the Naga Siren in the hands of Evil Geniuses is really, really strong.
Oh, still the possibility of CDEC grabbing another hero for Shiki. Garter plays a very good Lina, so we should not forget that. They could just grab, like, even a TA mid this game. I think CDEC are putting a lot of thought into this.
Wouldn't you think if it's a TA mid that they actually have a harder time in the early game? Like Lina is much stronger, like at controlling and dealing damage. If it's a TA, they don't have that much burst until PL or TA gets more items.
I think it becomes a better solution for a lot of their hard parts right now, though. It's better against Roshan. It's better at running in against the Shaker in the team fights, and it just deals. Well, it depends what they would last pick if they go for Lina mid, right?
My only issue with TA is, like, I feel like they lack a frontliner. Okay.
So it is a support Lina, and it's going to be a frontliner as he called for.
Yeah, I think it's important for them to have something that tanks that, because EG, they have a lot of burst damage early on. Like, you can't just show under or just go on them. You're just gonna get bursted down by just a Fisher, cooldown, or whatever they decide to use against you.
We missed calling that as well. They needed one more good stun against Storm, because they have Winter's Freeze, but that was the only thing. Now they have Dragon Tail.
I think DK is a very solid pickup for them. It's just scary to lane DK versus Storm, but
it is.
And I think it's also a really good pick because they can force Naga out of her comfort zone. Ideally with Naga, you want to sleep, reset, and then take a fight a few minutes later where you have Song up again. But Dragon Knight, you can't do that. The DK ultimate lasts so long that if you try and sleep and ignore the fight, you're just wasting your own ultimate. And they can just keep taking towers and towers and towers without utilizing Naga to her full potential.
I think this is a very beautiful draft by Q, actually. I think it synergizes well in the early game, good team fight, and the late game is really strong as well. And they countered the Storm, so this is quality drafting by both teams.
But it's a tough lane for it.
I kind of like Cuddle for EG. I don't know if it's something they didn't pick it so much this tournament. AUI knows how to play it. Obviously, he played it a lot, but I think it could be a good pickup for them.
Last time the DK came out on Shiki was against EG.
Oh, that's interesting.
And he lost on it, of course.
The Techies game.
I'm actually still considering...
I remember that game.
It was the Techies game as well, yeah.
I'm still considering the possibilities of the ES as a support right now. It doesn't feel like they have a very good pick here. So it'll be...
It's a to have versus PL, but could really work with DK.
Two quality drafts by both captains of both teams. It's time for game number 4 as we head back to the arena with your commentary team, Toby1 and Syndren.
Game 4 is correct. The International 5 Grand Final. Not only money at stake, but also the pride of taking home the Aegis and the title of the best team for 2015. That's what the International's all about. And CDEC, they're now one step behind EG in achieving that title.
Yeah, they've got a lot of their comfort picks this time around, though. They did manage to grab their Phantom Lancer. They got Shiki's Dragon Knight. But I'm with the panel. I'm surprised they let the Storm Spirit through and that they're letting EG have it. in this game. It seems like a really good Storm Spirit game. I think Sumail is going to have a very easy lane. I think he has a lot of easy targets he can just jump on. Lina is going to be fragile. She's a support. Same goes for Q on the Wyvern. I have a feeling EG are feeling pretty confident going into this game, feeling pretty good. They're up one game. I personally favor their draft, unless if CDEC get off to a really good start and start taking towers with Dragon Knight. And,
CDEC actually have a lot of things they can work with in the early phases. Because if they do get a good start, if you look for maybe the more aggressive DK we've been seeing throughout the TI5, which is with the Blink Dagger for the Dragon Knight, so you're able to jump in, you get that initiation, maybe Gata in combination with the Wyvern, where you have Curse as well as that Laguna Blade. Storm Spirit jumps in, you instantly control, you instantly nuke him down, and then the rest of the work has to be done by EG. Like, there's a lot of things that CDEC can work with, and then you've still got Aggressive's PL. Never underestimate his Phantom Lancer.
EG have beaten it today, though.
They have.
Keep in mind, Aggressive did lose his first PL game.
I will not deny that one. At the same time, with so much on the line, you can succumb to pressure every now and then. So our early laning phase is going to be pretty passive again, primarily just because we're just waiting for the runes right now. But Sumail, you say you should be having a very easy lane up against the DK. How does CDEC now try and counter this? Do you rotate more supports in?
They could look to gank him early on, but they can't focus on him too much, because then we get a situation similar to Game 1 where they're emphasizing the mid lane so much that EG just stack the jungle a lot and Sumail comes back that way. In a way, the most important thing for them is to secure the PL his farm and make sure Clockwork gets level 6 so that they have some sort of counter initiation when Storm just jumps on his target. A Blink Dagger on DK and a Clock Hook are decent tools at dealing with Sumail in the mid game. It's not going to be easy for Dragon Knight. He's not even going to get a one-on-one lane. It's going to be a 2-on-2.
AUI is going to add a little bit more pressure up against Shiki in the early stages. And what's Gata really going to do against this as well? Like, he wants to come in close, but then he's going to be the one to get riptided up and just forced out of the lane. But we've got the bottle already arriving for the Dragon Knight, so this is fine. The DK is just able to farm with most, like, Breathe Fire, harassing the Sumail. It's not like it's a Templar Assassin who's going to have defensive refraction charges that can avoid the damage as well. So that's fine, and both teams are looking to now do their pulls. The Observer Ward's already up for EG, which is also blocking up the pull point. This Sentry Ward is only millimeters away from actually getting the D Ward out. And on top of that, CDEC can't even pull the side camp because that's also blocked up by another Sentry Ward. There's just no way for CDEC to throttle this lane out and stop Universe from finding experience. And now you should actually probably... Like, what even do? You've committed one of your Sentry Wards. How do you even stop this now?
I think they might need to smoke and look to rotate and gank the mid lane first. And then if that gank is successful, they can buy sentries and maybe go back up and pull. But this is definitely not a good start for them.
Oh. While PPD is able to do his pull on the bot lane.
They actually gave the other sentry to XZ. That's why they can't counter the Observer Ward. With one sentry, there is a risk you don't find it. And the one he has placed for the Rune Ward is not doing anything.
Battery Assault on PPD. Does he have enough life to survive this? He went Chilling Touch to start with, and Fear is making his way over, and this Rocket Barrage will be forcing Clockwork out if he kept pushing it out. But at the same time, he realized now there's a Regeneration Rune in bottom. Pick that one up and be good to go.
And Dragon Knight got the top rune. This means no rune for Sumail this time. He's just going to Bottle Crow.
At the same time, Sumail has completely crushed this lane. He's 14-8 up against 5-0 on the CS. This Dragon Knight has found no space whatsoever.
It is a very difficult lane for Dragon Knight. This is nothing out of the ordinary. Although Shiki, in other matchups, he's played like Dragon Knight versus Shadow Fiend, I think, where he did exceptionally well. But Sumail Storm is very difficult to play a melee hero against here in the lane. So he's going to be getting 9 CS here if he gets both of them, which it looks like he will. There we go. So he's 9 against 17. That is definitely not that good, but it's to be expected. Also with AUI putting a little bit of pressure in there with the Naga. It's also denied him a bit of CS.
Should also flag the fact that CDEC is starting to stack up inside their camps. So we've got a triple stack inside the Dire Jungle, which will be flash farmed up later. And DK is able to do that one. Lina would obviously help out with Light Strike Array, and that'll give her burst in levels. And you can see that Laguna Blade coming on a little bit earlier. And also the Dragon Knight progression of items coming a lot faster too. That's something the Storm Spirit can do, but currently there's There's actually one stack in the lane, in the jungle, so that's fine. Actually, there's 2 of them. So there's 2 double stacks available for Evil Geniuses. I'm going to keep my eyes on that one, considering what happened last time we had our Storm Sumail. And Universe has also managed to find a lot of levels. Both the Clockwork as well as the Earthshaker. Now we've got 3 on the Clockwork, 4 over on the Earthshaker. And in fact, Universe completes his Soul Ring as well. This will stop practically any push in the lane. And he's actually using the Fissure as well to block up his creep wave for the moment. It's actually not going to stop the balance of the lane, because the Catapult's still in there.
This early game laning stage definitely favoring EG. It's what they want. If they can get a slow laning stage where both their AA and their Naga Siren can pull and get experience, and the enemy team can't, and they have a favorable matchup mid, and they have free farm on Fear, and they're getting a lot of experience on Universe, this is exactly as planned for Evil Geniuses. Well, they still need to be careful, of course, as heroes start to go missing, and they don't really know exactly what the supports of the Dire are doing, so Universe is going to stand far back, and now they do. Again, they actually still have that ward, which is giving them so much information. If they smoke now, that would be a pretty big mistake. They obviously realize that is not the play to make right now, as their camp is still blocked. It has to be an Observer ward. They just pick it up on Garter, who's probably going to stack, and then maybe they will look to make their play. And it's not like they're falling very far behind on gold. The experience is 1,000, which is decent. It's just the implications on the game. Like it's playing into EG's hand, I feel.
For now, but it's what all that burst gold's going to do for them. And we talk about it being 1,000 gold. In fact, the net worth is 100% less on 0, and the experience is just up for EG. But it's once you take out the quad as well as the trip stack, it's very simple for the DK. Then, well, he's already got level 6. He can add pressure in towards the tower. There's things which CDEC can do. They don't just have to sit in the back lines and wait it out until EG make a play before Sumail with his level 6 tries to make a bit of a jump, which is also possible. But another reason too why CDEC cannot fight. You don't have level 6 over on XE, so there's no Clockwork hookshot up just yet. Delina is in no position to get in and start any kind of engagement. She's still waiting for the DK to come up and flash farm. Then they can give the space to the Winter Wyvern so he can get up to his curse, his level 6. Alright, so we got the double quad stack straight to be farmed. This should be really quick and fast levels for Garda and really good money for CDEC.
They're going to need to wait for another Breathe Fire to do this one. And at the same time, for Evil Geniuses, they do their quad stack. They give it to Fear, actually. I thought they were going to give it to Sumail, but he takes the other big camp, which I do believe was just a double. It's going to push them both forward very nicely for some good experience here. And gold, of course. And what did Garter accomplish? He got level 3 from that stack. Okay, there's still a little bit. He's going to get 3.5.
And this was only one of the stacks that CDEC prepared. So they can do the other one. The issue is Shiki doesn't have any more mana for it.
And it's double golems. That's going to take them forever. They actually got pretty unlucky there on the RNG. Aggressive's finding good farm though. So this is the standard start that CDEC have been aiming for whenever they have their PL. They just want Aggressive to have a one-on-one in the safe lane, their supports to move. Now because they couldn't pull, the supports came online later than they wanted, and that's why the first blood is being delayed here. The question is if they're happy with the situation. Like once again, it's pretty much dead even. No one's making big progress. You've just got that feeling that EG are more happy and more comfortable with a slow play game. We're used to see so much aggression out from CDEC, but it seems like throughout the series, the further we got into the series, the later they found kills, the less effective their smokes were. And we've reached a point now where we don't even have a first blood 7.5 minutes in.
Which is really uncommon for this tournament.
Yes.
Almost every single first blood has happened before the 10-minute mark for TI5. Everyone's been looking for that early aggression, that early movement.
Most of the time, we've even had 3 kills before.
That's true.
At least, like sometimes even like 7 or 8 kills, which is a little unusual.
But the only way it's going to happen this time around is if Sumail gets this combo. He just bottled up a Haze Rune, goes up to full, and also gets himself a Regeneration Rune. So he's able to run both of them at the same time. And a hero like a Winter Wyvern is practically free gold when you have something like this. He just needs to CQ moving around, which he doesn't. Actually, now he gets a quick glimpse of the wings. But diving underneath the tier 1 tower is always dangerous when if you're up against multiple stuns and the clockwork's rotated. So he has his level 6 up and running. Hook shots available, and it looks like CDEC are looking to do something, but this Naga illusion could spoil the fun.
Yeah, they're going to run into a safe position before they use their first smoke. Still not using it, though.
They're back a very long way. It's like they want to have they want to have Wyvern as well. So the perfect timing to have that Winter's Curse. And they're going to loop themselves into the mid at the same time. EG had exactly the same thought. It's going to be smoke on smoke. The smoke will break, and Fear's going to have that call down. The finisher going to keep Dragon Knight out with the Rocket Mirage. The hook shots coming in, but Samael will take the first blood. Isolated XC inside of his own cogs, and Samael jumps over him again. They manage to hold Clockwork in position of Fear. The Rocket Mirage doing some work with the instead. Garden wants to TP out. They don't have enough damage to kill both of them. Earthshaker commits the Echo Slam to ensure the kill. Meanwhile, Aggressive almost finishing up this tier 1 tower, but EG just moved themselves up. Samael got another jump up his sleeve, but they can just be happy with denying up the tower and having the first blood go out before the 10-minute mark.
Yeah, that was really good timing. EG outnumbering them there, 5-4, with PL just being busy in the top lane. He's going to have very early boots of travel, though, if he wants to buy them now. This is 9:30. At the same time, I'm a little bit surprised Q didn't try to get off the Winter's Curse at least and see where if they could make anything out of it. Like, just keeping it on cooldown here, sure, it's 110 seconds to level 1, but the chance that he'll be able to use it within the next minute and a half is probably not that high. And when the smoke broke, I guess they didn't have uphill vision, because then he could have caught a 3-hero curse.
Correct.
EG just taking advantage of their superior positioning with that smoke rotation.
The one observer ward they did have was sitting over the top rune. That's the reason why they couldn't see far enough over. So EG, it was the perfect time. The two smoked armies meeting up against each other. If CDEC were only, do you dare say if they didn't wait for the Wyvern, they would have been there 10 seconds earlier and they probably would have been able to get into a better position. But we can judge everything from an armchair later on. Now hook shot from XC, gonna miss on Owie. And they'll just back it up. Very, very simple escape. And Aggressive moves down to the bottom lane. There's more fun to be had here, and he doesn't want to let Fear feel comfortable. And he did buy those very early BTs with the classic Mango. And even EG, like the stacks are always wonderful. But Fear's got 3 points up in flat cannon, rapidly approaching his 4th point now. And the Ancients actually failing on this stack. But there's already a lot of granite golems as well as lizards and black dragons inside that. Fear's going to get a big injection of money.
And if you look at the Dire side, you have a completely free-farming PL who has not contributed to fights yet. He's still 1,000 gold behind the enemy mid laner. That's just the first 2 kills. I think Samael got the first blood. He got an assist. They got all the stacks in the jungle, and this means that this investment from CDEC isn't really yielding anything just yet. It's basically playing a tie game where I think EG have some decent counters to PL, but here we go. This is the CDEC we know.
Yep.
They're going to gather up and push this.
They just moved from tower to tower. The EG saw this coming, so they just backed up. They didn't want to have a bar of it. They leave AUI to farm up the top lane so we can try and get up to his level 6. Samael adds a little bit of pressure to mid. But CDEC are just so quick at doing this that there is no reaction that can come from EG, which will result in a tier 1 tower dropping. And this is their power. Like, it's not even like the chip play you play with the Dragon Knight, where you attack at the tower, you slowly let it just tick out, while the other 4 create a little bit of troubles. Love that pop sound. The gyrocopter. When you got that many Ancients, the more creeps there are for the flat cannon, the louder the sound goes.
Just in case you didn't know what was going on, you could definitely hear what's going on.
EG are going to walk right over the top of an observer ward. CDEC, though, are not in any real position where they can fight, but I am looking at that Dragon Knight with 1,700 gold. And it does look like he's saving up for that Blink Dagger.
It's got to be Blink, and then they'll be looking for fights and pickoffs. Now the question is, with that coming out, say, around minute 14 to 15, they have enough fighting power. There is now a drum on Aggressive.
Wyvern, you didn't really want to do that. He threw down an Observer Ward, but it's in range of the Sentry Ward. So this Observer Ward's going to get de-warded out very quickly.
Yeah, AUI is going to find it.
Yep. Well, they're going to give the money over to PPD. Wants to buy himself something nice. will mop up the rest of the camp, while CDEC is actually becoming really troublesome. When they start losing observer wards like this, they just don't have vision across the map. Right now, there's only one dire observer ward which is in existence, and it's sitting watching that top rune. That's the only one they've got. While EG have their wards a little bit more sporadically placed. There's one that's watching the top rune, and there's one that's watching the mid lane. Both are able to see the rotations.
This has got to be one of the fastest Bloodstones of the tournament, or at least the main event. Sumail gets it at, I think it was 13:35 or something like that. And of course, the reason he gets it so early is that he skipped the treads. And it just, that really shows you how EG are thinking in this game, right? If they wanted to fight, he would have gone for his treads build-up. But they're just playing a slow farming game. They're just looking at efficiency. Of course, Bloodstone is so good for Storm Spirit to just ramp up his farm. Even though you don't have that attack speed from the treads, it's still, you can just use Static Remnant instead and clear camps faster.
EG's coming to fight. Clockwork gonna luckily walk himself up onto the high ground, but unfortunately for the Wyvern, there's a fissure, there's a Sumail jump in, as well as the Ice Blast from PPD. Very heavy commitment just for a kill over on a Wyvern. Now, CDEC might be happy to try and counter-initiate. You've got Hookshot also available. Dragon Forms up, Laguna Blades are also available for the Lina. And the side lanes are pushing, and AUI is still hovering around on that top lane. He can just TP his Song of the Siren in if things get rough, though. And maybe that's why CDEC should be a little bit more cautious. Because that Song of the Siren will allow EG just to reset.
But they can't just sit back, I think. Like, they have their key items now. They have the Blink on Dragon Knight, they have the Drum, as well as the Boots of Travel on PL. This is when they want to fight, usually.
Yep, and they're going to. They throw down the Sentry Ward, they checked up on the hill to see if there was an Observer Ward. And now we'll move into the Radiant Jungle. The only hero they saw was Fear on the bot lane, as well as, again, this Naga Siren, who's been giving all this free space in the world on the top, just to continue to farm up the Naga. So CDEC need a different option. They can try and have another play at mid, because they know there's no one inside the EG jungle. Gutter's just going to break his smoke, and they'll just start pushing the lane now. Smoke gank failed. Back to the farm. And Aggressive's still got so much of that. He's starting up on his Diffuser Blade right now. And AUI can't... He's not going to contest the Phantom Lancer. And PL can just keep moving everywhere. He's got these BTs, so he pushes aggressively as he wants to. And
he's actually...
the rest of his teammates.
He's managed to catch up to Sumail. He was 1,000 behind, if you remember.
He's now ahead.
He's actually ahead, so... They are finding the farm that they want on the PL, but he's the only one.
Storm Spirit, long jump on bottom. They're going in for the Clockwork, but then you've also got that Embrace. It's the Storm Spirit that's being locked up by the Curse and Laguna Blade. And this is the peril you have as a Storm Spirit, where CDEC, they've got the control and the burst damage to kill him off very quickly. And that's also Bloodstone charges lost. He's down to 6 now after the initial gain.
Who ate a mango?
It was the Gyro.
All right.
I think he's freeing up a spot. Yeah, we got a Salve coming in and also the Sanj.
Oh, he still has a slime. Oh well. Guess he was hungry. So this Ancient Stack is probably going to be... I don't know if Fear wants to go for it again while it's a single, or if they're looking for any sort of play in mid. But right now, EG are being a little bit scared here with CDEC inside their jungle, and they're, as a result, just going to pressure out this bottom tier 2 a little bit with the remainder of their Dragon Form on Cheeky. And just that one kill on Storm Spirit is actually really important. It's their first kill on the board, which is something for a little bit of momentum and just to keep the morale high, but more than anything, he is the hero they want to shut down. Even if Fear gets really good farm on the Gyrocopter, I think with this amount of single target burst that they have, especially looking at Alina, who will probably transition into an Aghanim somewhere down the line, they might be able to take the fight to him. Oh, mid lane.
Went to Wyvern, embracing himself for now, but there's no regeneration. That Ice Blast, is it going to be enough to kill him off? No, it will not. So the Winter Wyvern will not shatter.
What an aggressive play, though, for Sumail to just jump into the tower like that with an Ice Blast. If there was a counterplay available there from, say, a Dragon Knight or a Clockwork, that could have gone very well. I don't know what heroes they had seen on the map. If they know the positioning, they can, of course, just go for it just to put some pressure.
Have we even seen that Blink Dagger from the Dragon Knight have any effect? Because normally we look for that that blink to Dragon form into Dragon Tail stun, and you catch out most heroes a long, long way out.
He's using it to farm right now. It's increasing his movement quite a bit, of course. But yeah, it hasn't been that effective just yet.
Ice Blast on bottom. He actually managed to hit aggressive with this. He already doppelganged away aggressive. And now Dragon Knight. There's that move. Sumail, not a hell of a lot of mana, but he's got himself a haste rune. The Light Strike Array not going to connect either. If it did, they may have had enough time to attack into him, but Laguna Blade to finish the job.
And this is when Aggressive has to start leveling up Doppelganger, which it looks like he is doing. Probably put the second skill point in at level 12, and with the way these fights are going, he needs the lower cooldown. It is really, really important.
Almost got that Diffuser Blade done. At the same time, the T1 tower was taken on top lane. PPD's just soaking up the experience there now. Loves being on the opposite side of the map when you play the Ancient Apparition. Gives you that bigger radius for the ultimate. Considering CDEC can be pretty spaced out with their lineup, they need to be able to have that big range. But man, it really feels like though, CDEC, like there's no real advantage here. The experience is a little bit going the way of EG. There's nothing in the gold. But it's only like 4K. Oh, that's real trouble right now for Garda. The stun's going to miss. He could turn around and try and nuke on Sumail, but it's not going to be any good. Sumail will bottle back up again. So they find a pick off this over on the support Lina. But EG still are not addressing the major issue, which is this Phantom Lancer. An under 20-minute BT Drum Diffuser Blade up for aggressive. Okay, that happened. Blink, Echo Slam, and Call Down. And the Winter Wyvern just explodes. And that's also going to mean a tier 1 tower in the mid.
Yeah, they probably have the confidence to go for it. If Fear gets jumped here, they can just Song. They scout with the ults, they know it's clear.
Easy
we'll go
tier
for
1.
Fear.
Very easy tier 1. And we talk about all the farm over on aggressive, but when you've got also this Gyrocopter walking around with SMY, Helm of the Dom, full treads and Aquila, he's definitely ready to fight. Sumail's actually had enough of CDEC just sitting back. Takes up a little bit of the farm with the Dire Jungle and then just jumps down to bottom lane. The clock works around here, but CDEC are just trying to avoid all fights until probably this moment when they smoke up as 3. Dragon form is up. So is Laguna Blade. They could attempt to go in for Roshan, but without the Medallion of Courage, it's going to be a very, very long time. So instead, they try and kill up Sumail. The Observer Ward's watching him closely. They'll see him put down a Remnant, and they're already gone into the DK Dragon form. So we had to instantly blink, stun, Garda needs this Light Strike Array to connect, and they'll use the curse with Laguna Blade. Sumail! Almost able to jump. The animation will stop the universe right in the back of Garda. You've got the cooldown as well. This will instantly kill off the Lina. But now the Hawk shot as well. XZ's looking for a good line, and he completely whops it off to the side. Universe will get the stun, but the DK's doing a lot more work, especially when the Splinter arrives in from Q. 2 heroes down for EG in this tier 2 tower, starting to get chipped away. Aggressive also BT'd himself down here, so they got more pressure.
There was no TP on AUI. I think he might have used it to go top to farm, but this is the hero for EG. In case he didn't have one, you absolutely want to have a TP on the Naga to go and save a situation like that. They might have figured when Sumail gets jumped that they couldn't have saved him, but I think with a TP instant Song there, they probably keep him alive.
There's a couple of things which are falling apart. Sumail just tried to TP to the tier 1 tower and accidentally cancel his TP. So he's ball lightning out, running after the Wyvern. I suppose this might make up for it, killing off the Winter Wyvern on the hillside. But Wyvern did get the Observer Ward down as he was dying. This would be very difficult for EG to know about. But more and more runes now. A haste rune in for Sumail. And the Observer Ward was watching Shiki moving around inside the Dire Jungle. They're actually throwing up the ulti. That's only going to hit the creep wave though. Both Garda as well as Shiki have fallen back behind their tier 2 tower.
He's just using it to scout with as well. Gets a lot of vision. Doesn't really find anyone, but not finding anyone is also information, of course. Then they know there's no one in the neighborhood right there. And the farming just continues, and Fear. You know, this is kind of starting to remind me of, you know, Thor Open back in the day. With
not the Sven era. We do not want to go back to the Sven era.
Teams were just stacking their Ancients and just farming the Ancients for 30 minutes, and then whoever had Sven won. So
no Tidehunter era. That was... It's good times, man. Good times. Great Dota.
Things have changed a little bit since then.
They have.
That was...
EG, they've at least changed the tempo. We've got a haste rune already triggered over on Storm Spirit, but it's the smoke movement coming out with the rest of EG. CDEC is not in a bad position for this. They're just around the corner, including Hookshot. So Garda, as well as Shiki, they're not liking where they are, and actually Shiki just leaves Garda for dead. He blinks himself away to safety. He's thinking about turning his Garda with a Hookshot in. He gets Laguna Blade over on Sumail, and Sumail is practically out of mana. The Ice Blast, however, coming in on the top of the Dragon Knight with the Echo Slam control. It should be enough. Sumail, the curse is on him. Universe actually turn around to try and kill off his own teammate. Is Universe actually going to get a double kill? He's going to kill his teammate for Clockwork. The embrace is there, the Fissure Control, a triple kill for Universe, but now we see Aggressive coming online. The Phantom Lancer, insanely difficult to deal with. He's going to doppelganger himself in to find PPD. He'll pick up the kill, and there'll be a 2-for-3 trade-off, and the big one for EG, losing the Storm Spirit, now down to 4 Bloodstone charges on Sumail.
This is still a very even game, but we do manage to come out of that 1 kill ahead. Still, with Sumail on the sidelines, Aggressive should be able to increase his gap down to him, but of course Fear is still finding his own. These fights closing in on a BKB. He's actually very, very close to it, just a few hundred away on the gyro.
So at least he won't have his mana burnt out.
He won't have his mana burnt, and the only real counter CDEC has is the Winter's Curse. Yes, they also have Hookshot, but someone has to kill Fear during the BKB. And a lot of PL's damage right now is coming from the feedback from the Fusel Blade. Oh, what a great
doppelganger
there. What a great.
Unfortunately for Universe, when he jumps in, he doesn't have the Echo Slam, and that's the instant stun required. So there was time for Aggressive to not only see it, respond to it. Doppelganger's away, BT's up to the top lane, instantly starts split push, while the rest of CDEC, they start attacking into the tier 1 tower. And while that PKB might be nice over on Fear, a concern which should be there for Evil Geniuses is the fact they don't really have enough damage to kill off this Phantom Lancer quick enough that their supports will survive. And maybe that's a different place we should be looking at it. The Storm Spirit's going to get an Orchid, that's going to be terrific, but this mana style is getting very close to completion for Aggressive. So there's no control from the Storm on that front. A lot of it relies on basically Universe hitting the mark.
Yeah. They only really have one carry who's good against the PL when he has the Manta. So that is definitely true. It's not the worst matchup we've seen PL in. We've seen it winning against Gyro a couple of times in this tournament. And the time it gets scary is when you're playing against Ember and Gyro or something like that. Then it can be really, really tricky. But it's definitely possible.
DK, Dragon Form, he's coming after PPD. Blink, stun, breathe, fire. A quick glance, but the Fidge is going to buy a little bit of space here for PPD to at least get the ulti off. Universe wants to walk in. He's actually got Blink and Echo Slam available. With the BKB up from Dragon Knight, there's very little reason to use it. But with Storm Spirit having this fresh Orchid, to catch CDEC by surprise. Throw out more Lancers, just keeping vision on Fear. They jump in. There's your Curse Sumail going in deep over on Wyvern. He's already used his ability, but here comes your cooldown. Dragon Knight going for the extra stun. They're keeping Universe out. No Echo Slam for him back. It's actually going to push him back out with the comp. Universe will drop, and maybe even one after. It's going to be a double kill for Sumail. The Song of the Siren allowing EG to reset Sumail, not with a great amount of mana, but bought time for the Orca to come back off cooldown. They can control the clockwork. He will take a fall, but Aggressive is on the run. The PL will still survive, and will probably TP bottom to take up all the money there.
Sumail is causing them so much trouble. He jumps in on the Wyvern, it forces out a cape, and then they just go on to the Lina as well. Never got her Laguna Blade off. Just gets completely shut down in that fight. And you just know the whole time that if things aren't going the way EG are planning, they can just Song of the Siren like they did toward the end of that fight, just set up and finish it off. So they read the fight very well, but they were ahead the whole time. And they do get the clearly better exchange there as Fear once again survives a fight, gets even more. He still hasn't died this game.
So big for him, being 5-0-5 on the KDA. But I'm also looking down towards a PL. He's 2-0-2. And continues to add this split push pressure, which EG, they've got Sumail to help deal with that. But again, we go back over what we talked about. There's no control and aggressive that Sumail can use. He definitely causes havoc with the rest of CDEC. But this PL will continue just to BT split push this game out. Get more and more money. And that, for me, is still the biggest problem for Evil Geniuses. Where do you go with this? Fear needs to have that damage-dealing item. But in order to do so, he's got to drop either his TP scroll or sell the Ring of Aquila. And Sumail, blink, Dragon Tail stun. Garda's going to be here with the hookshot as well. Laguna bites Sumail. The Cogs Burn. The Cogs Burn bought them a little bit of extra time. And with Sumail down and no buyback, Roshan is a very, very juicy target here for CDEC.
Yeah, EG are going to know they're going for it, though. First of all, it would be pretty obvious from the lane situation, but they also have a good ward around the river area to see that CDEC are moving in there now. I don't think EG are interested in contesting this 4-on-5, but maybe they could delay it long enough for it to be a 5-on-5 if they Ice Blast and Fissure properly. There is no hook shot.
They're all together. PPD, here comes the Ice Blast, ready for the dog! In from Universe! It's a disaster! CDEC! They're going to get wiped from the face of the earth, apart from aggressive. He'll jump out, but the wombo combo perfectly hits from Evil Geniuses, and now they will take Roshan. Sumail is back, they'll get the Aegis of the Immortal.
Yeah, they don't even need to buy time. When they have superior vision and CDEC have no idea it's coming, Universe was so convinced that they're so sure they're in there because of the vision showing them moving down in that direction that he just blindly blinked Echo Slams, knowing that he should. Oh, actually not blindly. They already put down an Ice Vortex first, actually, so they did know for sure they were there. But even without the Ice Vortex, I think he still would have gone for it, because the only alternative is that CDEC move toward the Roast Pit and they actually don't go for it, baiting, expecting that EG want to check it 4-on-5, which would be very unlikely. And then just going for it instead, they just get being clumped up, get completely obliterated by the Echo Slam Ice Blast.
It's at this point I would also ask the question, where were your obs, where was CDEC's vision coming into that fight?
Going into Roshan blindly like that against a Shaker, Naga, and AA lineup is very, very risky indeed. They might just be feeling the pressure that they have to get something done with every single major kill they find. But that was not the play. Roshan without vision is not good.
The only upside for him was the fact that Aggressive was able to survive. So once again, he's not giving up much of this farm, but we're still looking at the Gyrocopter now being just under 900 gold away from completing up the full butterfly. So he's looking fantastic. That's Fear. AUI was able to not only complete up the mech, but he's also got the Medallion of Courage, so that Solar Crest could be coming up a lot sooner as well. The Earthshaker was able to afford up an entire Glimmer Cape, and it looks like a Lincoln Sphere build coming in for Sumail, who's already got the Perseverance. Even PPD has his own Glimmer Cape to get in and out of trouble. EG have every item that they really need at this point of the game. And CDEC, they need one hell of a fight to repair this damage of golden experience and keep themselves in TI5. They're the ones who are playing from a game down. They're the ones with all the pressure on them.
And once Sumail gets this Lincoln Sphere, the Dragon Knight Blink Dragon Tail is not going to have any effect. He's either going to block that or, say, a Winter's Curse. Pretty likely. Of course, there are other single target spells that can break the Lincolns, but I think it's really good for him in this game. It's mainly just the Dragon Knight he's getting it against to feel safer around the map. And pretty good chance he can use it twice in the fight as well. Oh. Man, that rush.
It's going to be one of those moments. EG could have actually won TI5 with just that moment. That's how important that dunk was. And Evil Geniuses, all they got to do is just roll through the motions and like still be very mindful about the split push, because CDEC, if they want to, they can still keep dodging. Like Roshan was one of those special moments where EG knew where CDEC was going to. So you're able to fight them there. But this push coming into the tier 1 tower, there's no reason to take a 5v5 fight. You could just TP aggressive to the top lane, keep the pressure in, and you'll take the tier 1 tower, yes, EG, but either you take the tier 2 tower and lose your own tier 2 tower, and you find these trade-off games.
For now, they're just getting one for free here.
Yep.
This is the easy tier 1. And with Fear with the Butterfly and Sumail with the Aegis, they're definitely not scared of a team fight. They have all their abilities off cooldown again, apart from Ice Blast coming up in 20.
CDEC might be happy to fight this.
I don't think they want to at all.
It's just because the double damage rune that's over on the Dragon Knight. So if EG force it further into the tier 3 tower, then CDEC would be happy to take the engagement.
On the other hand, they would love to wait until she gets level 16. He's 100 XP away. He has to use Dragon Form now. That's pretty annoying for him.
So you really want to have that Frost Dragon. He's got no creep waves, though. And Samel's already moved up to the top lane. There's a lot of PLs down here, but he'll use as much burst damage as he can with the Remnants to get rid of it. There's that full Solar Crest now up for AUI. And Lina is working on the Aghanim Scepter, but she had to go for the 4-staff to start with. So
I can't help but feel like AUI is playing techies, you know? It's like, he has 1 assist in 34 minutes in an 18-minute game. He's just been like, he's been playing on his own, like pushing out lanes, just casually farming, getting toward the key items with both the mech and the Solar Crest, while the others have just been running around finding these kills. And he's had a really big impact, because it's been difficult for CDEC to push the towers when the Naga has always been in place to defend. So it looks like he hasn't done anything when you look at the kill death assist, but it's not true. It's just, it's funny to observe how little kill participation he has had in this game.
If only the Song of the Siren did some level of damage.
Yeah.
Then you'd have yourself some assists.
Then you would have Naga picked in the first phase every game. Oh wait.
Snap. Tier 2 tower's going to be dropping on the top lane for CDEC. This is their last out of tower. Now going down. And Evil Genius is inching closer to victory if they can make it. But the TPs are coming back, and CDEC are ready to fight this one. Hookshot's up and running. He's got that Dragon Knight triggering the double damage rune now. I'm also watching PL with a large amount of money. In fact, he's just spending a little bit more of it. He just put a heart recipe. It's over on the courier. If he can find another 800 gold on the map, that's the full heart in for the Phantom Lancer. But at the same time as this is happening, I'm watching Fear moving to the secret shop, and he'll pick up, actually, he's going a defensive item. He's building into the Satanic straight away before he builds into the Monkey King bar.
It's pretty sustainable in fights. I think EG feel like they don't need damage right now, and even if they see the heart on PL, they still have a lot of ways to deal with it. They have Echo Slam, Ice Blast is pretty good. The spell damage of Flat Cannon and Call Down and everything, well, the physical damage of Flat Down and spell Flat Down, whatever. They have a lot, okay? They have a lot of AoE damage to still kill the illusions off, so I don't think an MKB or something like that is necessary yet for Fear. I think he wants to wait with it until, when he sees the heart, he probably knows, okay, Aggressive's next item is going to be a butter, and that's when he wants to counter-itemize with the MKB, and they should be done at around the same time, MKB being the slightly cheaper item.
Here we go again. 5-man smoke by CDEC. They'll look for the opening on EG. Now, Samel's not in the perfect position for this. He is going to see an Invis rune and potentially going to jump down and grab it, and now they can curse him up. Liquid Sphere, though, it triggers. That wasn't the curse from Q, however. But the PL just runs himself down to EG, taking out a lot of Fear's mana. Now remember, Aggressive does have the full heart for this fight. Last Record Ray's going to force it out. Universe! Big jumper to get the curse off. There's a control by Universe and Samel. And the hook shot in as well from XC. He's going to split the fight up for Fear, finding the damage. Samel, Aggressive, being put under in the cold embrace. We back up in a moment. Doppelganger, 1 second, but Song of the Siren. They need Aggressive to die instantly before he's able to Doppelganger. Shiki as well. There's your Doppelganger. Shiki has 1 chance to survive a little bit longer. We're splitting up the fight, but there goes your PL. Dragon Knight, the cold feet and the urn charge. They're both taking him out, and the cogs will push back. He's got enough life to survive. They actually repair it with another urn charge. And AUI, yeah, he's not going to keep up with the Dragon. There's Clockwork. Oh, the canceling of TP. Vortexing XE back in. A 3-for-1 trade-off. Dragon Knight lucky to survive, and he can't even get back. His TP's on cooldown. There's 32 seconds before the DK can TP back to base. He could lose his entire racks in that time.
Yeah, he tried to TP out earlier. This should actually be a lane. I don't know if EG are aware of this, so they might start moving back if they feel any bit of pressure, but Fear doesn't care right now. He is definitely up front.
Now, Samel going in deep, chasing after Q. They just need a couple of kills to be TI5 champions. With the Wyvern, he down for the count. Fear, fully wicked sick. They're going to bring in the Satanic as well for Fear while this push continues. As the tier 3 tower drops DK, only now is he TPing back, and he's still going to regenerate. The melee racks will drop. EG, how much respect do you give? The PL is up in 7 seconds. They're going to rotate themselves over to the tier 3 tower. They do not want to overstay their welcome here, but they may just have the confidence to keep on going with that fresh Satanic. Shiki Dragon form up, gets us on over on Fear. They're moving forward with a hook shot in the eyes. Blast! Perfect on CDEC! They keep the battle going. So Mal might be low on mana. They need to keep controlling Fear CDC if they want to try and win this game. But Fear finds more. He's actually being trapped up. The curse holding him here for now. DK will bite back and they're dragging back the clockwork with a Fissure Starter. CDEC are running out of heroes. Aggressive wants to come out and find some kind of collateral kills. But EG are turning tail and running for now. Universe is ready to turn. He's got Echo Slam up. He just sees his blink. They're going to come back up. Cooldown aggressive. The cooldown. The perfect position. There's your Echo Slam. Aggressive. Locked in position right now. He got embraced up by the Winter Wyvern, but Fear moving forward as well. The DK about to drop. Aggressive on Soul Survivor. CDEC. It looks troublesome. It looks really, really bad for them. Aggressive on the run. Universe right behind him. They keep running out, but GG well played. EG are your TI5 champions. Here in Key Arena, they've managed to do it. Third place in 2014. It looked rough dropping down the lower bracket. They had to play the best of 3 and the best of 5 today. But they have persevered. And they will claim the Aegis of the Immortal. They are the champions here in front of their home crowd. CDEC though, fantastic data from them. They played all the way through the winners bracket. Huge props to them. But Evil Geniuses, they are the team that claim the glory, claim the huge prize pool, the largest one in the history of Dota 2. And what a team to deserve it.
The champions of the International Evil Geniuses!
Congratulations! You're grand champions of TI5! I'm going to step up just a little bit. This has been an amazing week for you guys. How are you feeling right now in this moment?
I think we're all just super pumped right now. That's about it.
PPD, what about you?
I just can't believe we did it. It's real.
I'm gonna get down here too. How are you feeling? Get a hold of this agent.
What?
They're gonna let you hold it or what?
I guess I'm holding it. Like,
there you go. That's how you do it. What do you think was the key to how strong you've been able to be all week?
We just kept a positive attitude and we just kept grinding and we took the lows with the highs and I don't know, we just kept with it.
Samael, I know this has been a great experience for you too. What does this mean to you and what does it mean to bring this victory home to your family?
I mean, it just meant everything for me, so we got it now. Feeling pretty excited. And yeah, it's pretty good to get some money from our family.
What do you guys want to say to all of your fans who have been with you this whole time?
Bleed blue!
One more time, let's give a big round of applause to all 16 teams who have participated in TI5. It has been an amazing year. We also want to thank all of the fans, to all of you who are here in Key Arena today, to all of you who are watching at home, who have been following along on the stream. Thank you so much. This community is outstanding. And one more time, give it up for your TI5 champions, Evil Geniuses!